Kentucky's Voice Radio, covering the latest state and local issues with Tom Fallbush, Bob Scott, and Jim Waters.
And that is me, Jim Waters, with you here on a Friday edition of Kentucky's Voice. Glad to have you with us. We're here each weekday, 11 to noon, live on the radio, and then you can watch us on TV. If you always wondered what these guys on the radio look like, you can catch us this afternoon on Channel 21 in Louisville at 4 p.m. and then 8 p.m. later on tonight. But we're live right now. We want to hear from you at 502-571-0970. That's our Kentucky's Voice text line. We've had some good shows this week. We're going to wind it up with, this is going to be the best of the best here today. But we would like to hear from you. You have a comment about what's going on. There's a lot happening in Louisville. We talked this week about the Department of Justice order and how that Louisville is no longer going to be a sanctuary city thanks to the Trump administration's immigration enforcement, actually enforcing the law. Imagine that. And actually having a mayor, to his credit, who says we're going to follow the law, although I'm sure it helped the fact that if they didn't, they were going to lose a lot of federal grant money. So I'm sure that had a part to play. But we are glad that Mayor Craig Greenberg came along and saw the light and said we'll now cooperate with ICE, with immigration enforcement, and we will follow the law. Well, I'm delighted to be joined today by my co-host, Vladimir Aguilar, who hosts The Cuban Show, and Diana Starr, who's Gucci Granny for Trump. I just like saying that. Gucci Granny. We're going to say that every chance we get today.
It flows.
So, yeah, it does. It really does. I know that's why you did it that way, too, so I could say it that way.
I did.
But we're glad to have you with us, you guys with us today as a co-host here on Kentucky's Voice. And we're glad to have you again with us here live today on the radio until noon. Want to hear from you, 502-571-0970. I want to talk to you for just a moment, if I can, about this show and really about this entire media project that you've come across today that we've called Kentucky's Voice. And isn't that a good logo? That's a good-looking logo right there. We got it happening, guys. It's going on here. But Kentucky's Voice, the mission of this media project is to offer coverage of news, analysis, and opinion from a conservative, common sense, and Christian-based, faith-based point of view. We make no bones about that. We're not ashamed to say that. We're pretty open and overt about that. There's no other media project saying that in our state, claiming to be the voice of conservatism here in Kentucky. And so we want you to engage with us. We want to hear from you. I'd like to encourage you to partner with us, and you can do it by texting. Very easy. Text KY Voice to 53555 and just make this part of your regular support for conservative, common sense, Christian-based causes. Just make it regular. Just set it up to recur, and you won't even have to think about it. It'll just be there. But it'll really help us continue to build this project. We have a unique opportunity here to build a conservative media powerhouse. It's needed here in Kentucky. You know, conservatives are bad about waiting to respond or react instead of being proactive a lot of times. And right now you might say, well, Trump's in office, things are going our way. It might not always be that way. And what you do today may pay off big time tomorrow when this conservative voice is needed. And where else are you going to go, by the way? To know that you're always going to be getting a reporting, analysis, and opinion from a conservative point of view. And the other thing I wanted to talk to you for just a moment about is we're looking for your help in another way. We're looking for citizen journalists here in the state. And if you're interested in working with us on this project as a volunteer correspondent, as a content creator, maybe you're passionate about local politics, what's happening in our country and our Commonwealth, you wanted to help defend our liberties, our Constitution. You might be a college student studying journalism, communications. You might be interested in political science. You might be an aspiring media professional who wants to gain some more experience in broadcasting. Or maybe you're someone who just has a passion for media and you just want to help cover and spread the conservative message and do stories that the corporate legacy media ignore or miss or just don't like. We've got a place for you. We've got a need for your help. We need your help for field reporting, for video contributions, for corresponding on radio, for writing, for researching, Maybe you are on campus, maybe you're a college student, you'd like to be a campus correspondent. We want to follow what's happening there. We want to make sure that we're paying attention to all of those issues. So let us know. You can reach out to me at jim.waters@kyvoice.org, or you can give me a call at 270-320-4376, and I'll be happy to give you more information and get you plugged in to our project here, and it's exciting. I'm excited about this, guys. I'm with me here on the show today, Diana, Vladimir. We're going to build this. This is going to be a statewide conservative media powerhouse before it's all over with. And we're just getting started. So we're glad to have you all joining us today and with us today. And I'm excited about all of our guest hosts. We've had real good, I think, success with our guest host. And so every day is different on this show. You never know what's going to happen. And especially today. Today is 7/25/25. Did you get that? Today is July 25th, 7/25/25. And on today's show, we're delighted to be joined first today by Rafael Alvarez, who is the founder of Latinx Franchise Brands, Inc. You can find them on the web at latinofranchise.org. And we're going to discuss some important topics today, especially human trafficking. And Diana Starr, I know that this is a guest that you have helped reach out to for us. We appreciate that. And I'm going to let you jump in here and talk to Rafael about his work in human trafficking. This is a big issue. I did not realize how much of an issue that is here in Kentucky. But Rafael, we're glad to have you, and Diana's here with us, and we're going to do a team approach here today.
We are, and we're looking forward to your feedback about this team approach. And we'd like to build on it to get the different perspectives from each of us about what's going on. And Kentucky's Voice always offers and welcomes your impact to the things that we say and do. So, Rafael, go ahead. We're going to jump right into you about the human trafficking, about the hidden in plain sight, the unmasking of the human and child trafficking in America. And then you're going to go into how it relates to Kentucky. So go ahead, Rafael.
Oh, hi, it's a pleasure. Thank you for the invitation, Diana. It's a great, for me, it's a great pleasure to be here. I'm representing the Returning Youth Initiative, which is a non-for-profit organization created by Dr. Surajit Khanna. Dr. Khanna is an advocate of children's nationwide, and the Returning Initiative was created to really start helping youth when they are released from after incarceration. They can adapt to society. But now our main focus the last year or so is around human trafficking. It's an epidemic, a nationwide epidemic. And answering your question, Diana, definitely the numbers are really mind-boggling. It's really crazy what's happening in the nation. It's one of those topics that everybody knows that it's happening, but nobody want to talk about it because it's one of those things that you know it's happening to other people, but you only embrace it when you know that it's affecting your family or relative or someone that you know close to you. Nationwide, Diana, I don't know, looking at numbers, I mean, 11,199 cases identified across the United States, 21,865 victims involved in many cases. And as you know, there are three categories, basically, in terms of human trafficking. The most common and popular one is the one that people are being used as sex trafficking. I mean, I hate to say it, but there are 6,641 cases in the nation of sex trafficking. And also, there are a very increasing number on labor trafficking, 2,220 cases, and also another one that people don't like to talk about it much, but it's real. People, I mean, sometimes bad people, when you go to a park, let's say, for example, with your family to enjoy a great afternoon, sometimes bad people, snatch your children, take the children away, and suddenly they take them with the purpose of using their parts or selling their human parts, as you know, organs for a lot of money. It's all about the money. This human trafficking, problem that we have nationwide, and it has to be addressed. I mean, and
Right.
I'm here to talk to you about it, and I hope that the conversation can really open, your followers, your listeners, the people watching this program, eyes and mind,
Yeah.
and to
Yeah.
be
Hey,
more
Rafael,
aware.
I'm going to jump in here for a second. Just
Yeah.
what made you, what caused you to get involved with this? We've got about a minute and a half left in this segment, and we'll come back in the next segment. But we're talking with Rafael Alvarez. Is this a particular problem with any demographic or in any community, or what is it that got you involved with this?
Well, what really got me involved is the fact that this is being done through, number one, it's being done through a well-known, non-for-profit organization created by Dr. Khanna. He's well-connected and nationwide, and he has been traveling all over the country to make people aware of these social issues that are affecting our communities. And I decided to get involved because I was trying to identify a cause that through my businesses, through my contact, I can help really make a difference within our community.
I want to jump into Jim for a moment.
We've got about 30 seconds.
We got about
so
30
go ahead.
seconds. So when we come back, we're going to talk to you about your work on the streets that you do. And I think it all rounds up and goes back to this human trafficking with the guardian angels and other things.
And also, what can people do? A lot of times we talk about these issues, Rafael, but we need to give folks something they can do to help make a difference with this.
Definitely.
And we'll do that coming back. We're not just going to talk about the problem here. We talk about what you can do about it. You can take action. So stay with us here. More coming up with Rafael Alvarez. Glad to have him with us. Glad to have you with us today here on Kentucky's Voice. And if you'd like to text us today, you can at 502-571-0970. Let us hear from you. What do you think about the human trafficking, this effort to stop that? Thank you.
Online at kyvoice.org.
And thanks for staying with us here today on this Friday, 7/25/25. And Jim Waters here with you on Kentucky's Voice, live on the radio. I love that. We're still live on the radio, 11 to noon every day. And glad to, and you can catch us on TV this afternoon, by the way, at 4 o'clock, and then again at 8 o'clock tonight. We're just all over the place, and we've got great co-hosts today. Glad to be joined by Diana Starr, Gucci Granny for Trump. Granny's for Trump. Did I get that
Granny's
right?
for Trump.
I got it. And that's why he won, And
I
then
know that.
and then we've got with us also Vladimir Aguilar, who's host of The Cuban Show and also the chairman of the Cuban American Conservative Coalition. Love that name. Love the idea there. What a great community we have here in Louisville, Vladimir, with Cuban conservatives. And you're going to make a difference. You're making a difference in this city.
Like you said before, we are not afraid about saying we are conservative.
That's right. And
That's right.
we're seeing the impact here. It's not a coincidence that our Metro Council here is really close to be flipping to Republican control. We're close in the city. That's not a coincidence. And there's a lot of things that contribute to that. But I think one of them is conservative legal immigration populations and groups like yours, and I'm excited about it. Always glad to have you with us. Thanks for joining us. And also with us here, staying with us on this segment, is Rafael Alvarez. And Rafael, glad to have you with us today here talking about human trafficking. You're also an entrepreneur, and you're a lot of things. You've got a big bio. I was reading your bio. It's like, how's a guy do all that in one person?
I see him like the showman.
Oh, he definitely is a showman.
But hey, we're glad to have you with us. And I know one of the things, and Diana and I, we were talking about this on the break, was, you mentioned about how we're talking about human trafficking, big problem here in Kentucky. Mm-hmm. I think part of the issue there is we have some huge sporting events here, one-time things that a lot of people come in, and there's a lot going on. I don't know how much that contributes to it. Maybe you could talk about what we should be aware of on that. But also why people don't want to talk about this.
Yeah.
You were asking about
I was
psychology
when we were
of that.
talking in the break. I said to this: there's two reasons that people are not aware or don't want to, and that's exactly the reasons. They don't educate themselves. They hear the name, they hear sex trafficking, human trafficking, child trafficking, and they're like, Or the second thing is, I have seen people hide their head. People in America, quit hiding your heads for the ugly issues. If we don't identify them, bring them out into the open, like Rafael's doing, like Dr. Khanna's doing, what we need to do in Kentucky, then that psychological effect occurs.
That's right. Let's get Rafael's response to that in terms of why is this such a difficult topic? You know, even I think I would encourage even Christian people to really start paying more. I guess we could encourage people to start paying more attention to this. And what would you say to that about why it's so difficult sometimes to talk about this issue or for people to face it, and B, what can folks do about this here?
Well, the issue with human trafficking is sometimes people are not well educated. They don't know. It's one of those things that is happening right in front of us, and people don't see it. They don't think that is a big issue. But when you look at the numbers, even when I look at the numbers in Kentucky, I mean, there is a significant number of human trafficking happening right in your backyard. And how come people are not looking at those numbers? Some of the steps that people should be taking is, number one, people should be raising awareness. They should educate themselves in order for them to be more knowledgeable about what type of human trafficking are taking place in their neighborhoods, in their community. And be alert. They have to stay alert and vigilant on what's going on. They have to also implement, online safety. That's another thing with children. We give full access to our children to everything that is happening online. And, there are a lot of bad people there that can convince our children and invite them to a park and whatever, and suddenly they disappear. We also have to recognize the signals of trafficking. We have to be on full alert and look up for what's really going on, because sometimes we ignore those signals. We have to engage with our information that you can find locally, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, does the, where Louisville is located, for example, where Kentucky, we have some major thoroughfares coming through here, Rafael. North-south, we have one of the busiest north-south freeways in the country, and I-65. We have I-74s or I-71, I-64 going east to west. How much does that have to do with this? And I guess too, I mean, are you surprised that this is still such a big issue and problem here with the whole Me Too movement, the whole focus on sexual crime, assault, discrimination, on and on? I mean, does this surprise you that this is still happening in the environment that we have right now?
What is surprising for me and Dr. Khanna and our team at the Returning Youth Initiative is the fact that sometimes instead of us, if you look especially at the number, instead of us moving forward, we feel like we're moving backwards, because every year there are more. The numbers are increasing in terms of human trafficking. I mean, when you look at Louisville Metro, I mean, there is a significant, look, in 2024 in Kentucky, there were 698 alleged children trafficking cases right there in your backyard. I mean, and the reality is, with all the technology and everything that we have, we should be able to be more, I guess, moving forward, being able to utilize technology to alert people to be able to reduce the numbers, because the numbers are not going down. It's the opposite. The numbers are getting higher and higher, not only in Kentucky, there are other states, especially Florida. Florida is amazing what's happening there in terms of human trafficking, and other states like Georgia, et cetera, et cetera. So, can we reduce the numbers? Can we reduce the cases? I feel like, we can reduce those cases. In 2024, there were 275 trafficking signals that initiated a report in Kentucky, 179 confirmed cases, and 256 identified victims. So the numbers speak louder than anything else, guys, and we cannot ignore the numbers. What we have to do is to be proactive and figure out a way how we can reduce those numbers. Look at what's happened in 2023, look at what's happened in 2024, 2025, and figure out a way how in 2026 we can reverse that.
I'm going to ask my co-host here and get their opinion on it, and you, Rafael. Do you not think that, and it's a kind of a wrench, but do you not think the technology that it's the parents' responsibility. The number of times that they're online that we don't guard our children anymore. We put them in the corner. They're online. They get fooled. They're asked to meet down the street. Does that not contribute, you guys? Glad and so the responsibility is falling back on parental
Parenting.
control too
Right.
on the
Parenting.
technology. Stop letting your children just do whatever, and there needs to be a guardianship over what they're doing so that they're not fooled, that they don't run away and they don't walk outside.
I've seen
Picked
like
up.
little kids, like I'll say like 10 years old with a
Yes.
Instagram account. Like, what's going on with that?
Rafael, you mentioned that, and you mentioned kids and technology. What else should parents do? We got about a minute and a half left. I wish we had a lot more time. This is an important issue. We'll have to have you back if you'll come back. But what else would you say to parents? What would you say to parents? I mean, it's one thing to say watch the technology, but what other things can parents do, or in addition to that, to help protect their children against human trafficking?
Well, like Diana mentions, social media is a key factor, is a key component of the whole equation, if you think about it. I would recommend parents, number one, use a strong private settings, social media. Avoid, sharing personal locations publicly and posting information that reveals, routines, routes for your children. Monitor children's online activities and educate them about safe online behavior. And please, be skeptical of offline friendships, because not all friends are friends in social media, and offer, that seem, not too good. Sometimes some of those friendships are too good to be true. So
it sounds like
you have to be alert.
sounds like if we dealt with the social media issue, that's the biggest elephant in the room on this. That's the biggest obstacle that we need to do.
I agree.
Well, Rafael Alvarez, we're out of time. I'm sorry. Glad to have you with us today.
Thank you, Rafael.
Thank you. We'll have you back, and this is an important issue. Coming up, Dr. Khanna, Surajit Khanna. Stay with us for more of Kentucky's Voice. Don't go away.
Kentucky's Voice Radio, online at kyvoice.org.
Glad to have you with us here on this Friday. Thanks for staying with us here on Kentucky's Voice. Jim Waters in with you, one of the co-hosts of this program, and glad to be joined today by some of our guest hosts here. Vladimir Aguilar is with us today, and Diana Starr. And so we're going to jump right in with our next guest, and we're also glad to be joined today by Dr. Surajit Khanna. And Diana, you had introduced us, or I didn't really know about Dr. Khanna, so I appreciate you making that connection. But jump in here, and we've been talking today. Dr. Khanna, glad to have you with us today. Thanks for taking a few minutes to join us today, and a busy day, I'm sure, for you. But Diana, we were talking with Rafael Alvarez about human trafficking and how big of an issue this is here, even in Kentucky, and wanted to pick up on that discussion, whatever insight you might be able to give us, Dr. Khanna, on this issue. It's a serious issue, and really has a lot to do with social media and parents paying attention to what their kids are doing with their electronic devices.
Go ahead.
Well, thank you very much for having me today. It's a great fortune, and thank you, Mr. Water. Thank you, Diana, for having me. Yes, I was listening to what human trafficking Rafael was talking about. Within the human trafficking, there is an element called child trafficking. Mm-hmm. We need to concentrate on child trafficking because, yes, human trafficking happens, but lately what's happening, which I'm involved in a couple of child trafficking in Texas, that mainly the child traffickings are done for organ donation, or not donor, organ selling is a $1 trillion
organs,
business.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, it's a $1 trillion business right now. Mm-hmm. And mainly it has been attacked to the foster kids, because foster kids, nobody is responsible to them. Nobody's going to call anybody. So this is happening. Means 30,000, 40,000, 50,000 kids are missing all of a sudden.
Now
what are we talking about?
Yeah, give us your bio, a brief bio about what you do and what you're working on right now, Dr. Khanna, and introduce yourself to our listeners.
Well, thank you very much for having me talk a little bit, but I would say I'm just a civilian. I'm trying to do something so that the local population can wake up and stop this child trafficking.
But you're focused on child safety advocacy, right? That's something
That's correct.
That's a focus
Child
of yours.
safety.
What does that involve? What does your work involve? What are you doing with that?
Well, mainly in juvenile justice, to make sure that juveniles they get the justice which they don't get most of the time, and they have been aware of the Constitution. The Constitution, every juvenile needs to understand that they are citizens of United States. They have constitutional rights, and also we need to promote from, again, like I said, from the local community, that they need to be empowered. The kids needs to be empowered, that they have the power to do things, but we are not giving them. We're giving them with this Facebook, TikTok, and all these gadgets, but that's not helping them. We better come up with some moral values. What is moral values? And moral values for connected with spirituality. I'm not bringing the whole religion here, but it's all spirituality brings the moral value. The biblical values, the kids don't know, because we are not allowed to talk about Jesus Christ, God in school anymore. Well, where do they get the foundation? So all this child safety and child trafficking, all these things starts from the community. The community needs to empower themselves. We can't just always say that, oh, president is going to do this, governor is going to do this, or mayor is going to do this. No, we have to do it. We as a normal civilian, we need to start waking up and give security to our kids. Why our kids are missing? Why so many people are missing? Lately, I was in Kentucky, and I've been hearing everywhere. Drugs is the problem. Kids are doing this. Kids are missing. Like Rafael said, in Louisville itself, so many kids are missing. Why? What are we doing?
Yeah.
So this is exactly what, and you asked me what, and that's why I would like to see if I can attract Mr. Trump and to see if I can get nominated for the Supreme Court, because I am going to be the voice of the children, voice of the voiceless, because they need to understand that the Constitution is for everybody, not only for the adults, but for the children, those are born from the day one.
Dr. Khanna, I'd like to interject here. President, you use this on your website. It says, it's a quote by President Franklin Roosevelt that says, we cannot always build the future for our youth, but we can build the youth for our future. So one of the things I understand that you advocate, and I'm very aware of now because of you, is that we take these young adults in minor crimes and we create criminals instead of training them and putting them back on the streets so they can become productive citizens and that they can lead our future, because as we grow older, we need the future led. These are the people that we create. This is actually a creation that happens. So Dr. Khanna, one of the things that you did with the Returning Youth Initiative is try to make sure that they get training. You have like 5 offices with Returning Youth, am I correct, across the United States that are
That's
helping?
Correct. But I would like to be in 3,142 counties. That many counties are there in the United States. I want to make sure that every children in every counties, they get the attention they need in order to be the future of our country.
Right, right. So what do you suggest that the parents can do? What can people do to get engaged so they know that this is my child, this child is growing up, he's going to be a productive moral citizen, a Christian citizen. At Kentucky Voice, that's the thing that we put out all the time about that we are the only Christian conservative in here. What do you think that the local communities can do, like in the Cuban, Vlad?
Well, the first thing, and I want to remark this because he was talking about something very important. Like,
Okay.
this is something that can happen to anyone. Don't think because, that's just numbers on a radio show, on a TV show. No, 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 no. It can happen to you, to your child, because sometimes, we are really busy, like working and trying
Yes.
to make a living. And sometimes we just leave the kids, unattended for, I don't know, like a couple minutes. And it can happen at any minute. So one of the first things that I will suggest to the parents, especially on the Hispanic community, take attention to your child's phone. That's the first tool that, all these people like, the bad
Right.
people, they want to try to reach your son. And like Rafael said before, don't post your child photos every single day on your timeline. You don't need to, because that's bringing more
good
attention
point.
on that people. Yeah. I see parents like letting their little girls or whatever, just posting a photo in Instagram or Facebook or whatever. That's wrong. Even with my family, I try to, be aware of that.
Yeah,
all
and
the time.
Dr. Khanna, you mentioned about foster children. This is really sad because, kids in the foster care
Yes.
system are already have two strikes against them.
Trauma.
Yes.
Yes. And I know there's a lot of advertising here in Kentucky about wanting to find foster parents, and maybe that's part of the answer is to find, Christian, godly people willing to do this and willing to take up that task. It's a sacrifice, to say the least, but something that may help save a future generation of our kids. But this is really sad that people would take advantage. There's a lot of evil out there,
Oh, yes.
and these kids are more susceptible to it. What would you say to local? And I know this is a tough topic. It's tough to give solutions sometimes on these things. But what about some advice? What about advice to local law enforcement, to local officials here, local elected officials, folks who are dealing with the public? What should they be looking for? Because sometimes kids don't know how to tell what's happening to them. Are there things that people should be aware of?
Well, my main advice or my main suggestion here would be on the confidence of the kids. The kids don't have that much comfortability to deal with the law enforcement or with even adults because they think that their voice is meaningless. So why should they even talk? If we start reaching out to the kids, engage them, and try to understand what they're trying to tell us, it's just we have to give them our listening ear. So you brought up a good point, Jim, that what advice should we give to the law enforcement or the elected officials? Well, we need to partner with the kids. We need to engage the kids. We need to listen to the kids. Not always we give them the lecture.
Right.
Let us hear from them what they would like to do, what they would like to see, how they can be comfortable. Because that's what is lacking today in the community, that we do not give importance to the kids. All we do is do the blame game. Oh, you are doing this, you are wrong, don't do this, don't do this. Well, what am I supposed to do if I'm a kid? If you tell me nothing is good, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, exactly. Great point.
I do
And
think so.
and Diana, I know this should be of concern to everyone listening to this show today, watching this show. As you mentioned, Vlad, in the Cuban community, and really in all of our communities. And Dr. Khanna brought up a point about the spiritual vacuum. We are spiritual beings, Dr. Khanna. We've got about a minute left in this segment. When we come back, I'd like to talk to you, if it's okay with my host here, about juvenile justice a little bit, because we've got some things happening here in Kentucky that I'd like to get your take on what we should do. But before we go to the break, just briefly, there is a spiritual vacuum. All of us have a spiritual,
Amen. Amen.
without God, without faith, without Christ, there's going to be a vacuum there that's going to be
Amen.
filled somehow.
Amen.
Amen.
So That's the way it is, and kids they'll find a way to fill it too,
Wow.
and they're not as experienced with dealing with that as adults are in many cases. So
They're looking for love.
So they're looking. That's
Yes.
right. We're
They're
all
looking for
people
love.
without the Lord are looking for something. They don't know it's Him they're looking for, but if you're looking for Him, He's right there. By the way, you can find Him. Seek Him while He's near.
Amen.
Stay tuned. Coming up, our final segment. Dr. Khanna will stay with us.
Voice Radio online at kyvoice.org.
And it is Friday.
Yay.
And when we did and I don't know if
We
Gary's
say
producing.
Friday.
I don't know if Gary Clark's producing back at the radio studio, but when we were doing just the radio show, TGIF meant thank Gary. It's Friday. So if he's still there, we're glad to have you along with us. So here on Kentucky's Voice, love to hear from you today, 502-571-0970. We'll check that text line, try to do that before the end of this program. I'm happy to be joined today by my co-host, Diana Starr, and who you'll see on here frequently and have seen on this show, hosting this show, and Vladimir Aguilar, who not only has been one of our guest hosts here, but has his own show, The Cuban Show, and is also the chairman of the Cuban Conservative Coalition. Coalition. And if folks want to find out more about that, what should they do?
Well, I mean, we are getting organized right now. We just,
What's the goal of that group?
Well, the goal is like to push the conservative values, especially in this city. Like we are surrounded by Democrats, and they want to turn the Hispanic votes on the Democrat side, which is like,
They're not really having a whole lot of success with that.
No, they're not. I think that they're not.
Yeah, and we've got folks from Cuba that are listening in today.
Oh,
so
yeah. And,
welcome to all
yeah.
of you. How do you say
hola? Hola a toda la gente de Cuba. Hola.
We're all about it. We're all about Cuban conservative Christian common sense coalition. I like it.
And that's the thing, like especially on the Cuba side, I want to make a remark like.
How many C's are there? C.
See.
Hey, that was just off the top of my head, Doctor.
I want to remark like Cubans are like, especially in Cuba, we need to get God in our life.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
hey, Dr. Khanna, did you ever think about the fact that we're not having to build walls to keep people in here in our country? We're having to enforce our border laws to keep people out that shouldn't be here, illegal immigrants. And that's where we wanted to pick up with our conversation, if we could. We're talking here with Dr. Surajit Khanna, who is hoping to get a nomination to the United States Supreme Court. First of all, very quickly, Dr. Khanna, how does one go about doing this? What is your strategy here for this?
My strategy is completely on living up to, because I was given a chance by Jesus Christ to be on the Supreme Court so that we can fill up the vacuum that has been created by all of us, and we don't realize that.
On these issues, yeah. Particularly some of these issues. Yeah.
Exactly. Without God, nothing happens. God is the glue.
Yeah.
Okay, we can't go to Home Depot and Lowe's and get Gorilla Glue to glue between all the states and all the human beings. So we need to put from the Constitution onwards, and like I was telling you, you brought it up about the spiritual gap, and people need to understand that we have a gap. Yeah. We are spiritual beings. We have a Holy Spirit.
That's right.
We have God.
And you can't.
We have.
That's right. You can't fix this by a law, right? No law is going to fix this. No politician. I mean, we can pass laws to try to protect people and do what we can. And we should do everything we can. We should be salt and light. But when it comes down to it, it's got to be in the heart. People's hearts have to be changed. Right. And when you're talking about human trafficking or any of these other serious issues, that's part of it. But I wanted to pick up Vladimir Aguilar, who's one of our guest hosts and co-host and hosts his own show here. He was mentioning during the break, we were talking about the impact of illegal immigration on human trafficking. Vladimir, pick that up here with a question for Dr. Khanna as well, if you can, with your comment.
Well, the special question that I want to make to him, it's like simple. Do you feel like illegal immigration, whatever we see in the last 4 years, has been connected to the human trafficking?
Your voice is a little low. I can't hear you.
Do you feel like the illegal immigration we saw in the last 4 years the madness we saw going through the border is some way connected to the human trafficking?
Yeah.
Yes, very much. Very much.
Yeah.
And it's not that I think I have witnessed, it's very much that border security, I don't know how to phrase it without hurting anybody here, but border security is the key outlet for human trafficking, especially children's. They just have been taken out from that. So yeah, you are absolutely correct.
Well, hey, if folks will break our laws, immigration laws, they'll break any law, right? If we have criminals that come here, murderers and rapists and all that, all the above, that just is another one of their criminal activities. But yeah, that's a good point. That's really, you made a really powerful statement.
We
there.
got a case last weekend
Yeah.
from one of the illegal immigrants. He chose tried to rape that lady, and then he killed his son because he was trying to defend her mom.
Yeah.
You know, from
I
this
know
guy.
that-
Why anybody would be opposed to getting rid of those people out of our country is
I have
And you know
no
what's
idea.
funny?
I understand.
I have
That
no
guy,
idea.
the killer, he was in custody here in the city, and they let him go.
And they let him go.
You know.
Doc, I got a point that I don't think these two guys know about yet, and I know that's a sensitive subject with you, and that you're out doing things behind the scenes with human trafficking that you can't talk completely freely about. But I do like our listeners to know, because that's what Kentucky Voice is trying to do about the evil. When you're out there and you are involved in the rescue of children, is it not a fact that every time that you find some of the children, there are some that are not living?
That's correct.
Yeah.
There are some that are dead
That's
when
correct.
you have.
Because they try to open their voice, and they've been shut down by killing them.
Well, let me ask you this too, along that point. Good question. If somebody listening to this program or comes across this, if they find themselves in a situation, they don't know what to do. They know there's a serious issue. Or what would you recommend they do? What can they do?
They should call you, call
Okay.
me, call Diana, the people those who are on the show today. You know, we are available. I mean, I don't know about you, Jim,
Right.
but I'm available 24/7.
Right. 270-320-4376. Call me.
And
we'll
you
get
know-
you connected with somebody
Yes.
too that works in that can help you.
Same thing for the para la comunidad hispana. Si en algún momento usted se encuentra con alguna situación de tráfico humano, usted puede contactar a la estación aquí en español, y siempre va a haber alguien que lo va a atender.
And the reason for this that Dr. Khanna has revealed to me is this. Often when they're out rescuing the children, they find that some of the law enforcement is integrated deeply into it. And so there brings that conundrum that is horrifying to think about, that I'm trying to rescue children that the law enforcement is supposed to protect. It's an ugly thing.
Dr. Khanna, how big of an issue is that? Is that something that is that widespread? Is it the exception? I mean, how concerned should we be about how law enforcement is dealing with this?
You guys are putting me on spot.
Well,
know,
just
things are
your
sensitive,
just
yeah.
your general thoughts about that too, about because you're working in this area. Most of us have not been working maybe as focused in this area as you have. So we need to have some context or idea of what you're thinking about this, I think.
Well, like I said, law enforcement should develop a partnership with this community and with the kids, so that the kids can have easy access and build confidence with the law enforcement people. Because law enforcement is supposed to give protection to these kids. But the kids know that police is not going to do anything. The law enforcement people are going to do nothing. Why that type of feelings do they have? Because, like Diana was bringing it up, and I don't want to make it public, but there are instances that we know very well, news covers most of the time, that how law enforcement also, they become little negligent. And because of that, a lot of things are happening, falls in the crack.
I will say this, I think probably, I think most local law enforcement folks would be welcome some help and how to help and how to do this.
Amen.
I don't think this is something we can, I don't think it's a blanket problem,
No, I
but
don't
certainly we all need to, whether law enforcement or whatever, if we're just claiming to be Christians, we need to be concerned about this. Dr. Khanna, just great to have you with us. One final question for you from me today is about our juvenile justice system here. We've had a lot of issues here in Kentucky with, particularly with detention centers, lots of things from people that kids should be able to trust. Unfortunately, should be leading and helping in this area. They haven't always done that. I think some of it is our folks are overworked. Our social workers, our juvenile workers sometimes find themselves with that. What's a word of advice you might have for a legislator seeking to do something positive about our juvenile justice system? What would you say to them in the couple of minutes we have here?
Well, very good question that you are thinking and bringing up juveniles that involve children and young adults. The legislators should really focus on how there is an act, Juvenile Justice Reformation Act. They should really study that act. They should give the rights, and they should give the constitutional rights to the juveniles. I know juveniles, they have done some type of mistakes. That's why they are in detention center, but they should be given a second chance, third chance. But the reformation has to be there. There is no reformation goes on. No rehabilitation goes on when they are in the detention center. They're completely treated as a criminals like adults. That needs to be stopped because their brain cannot handle the adults' criminal punishment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so what you're saying is just getting harsher with just a strategy of just being harsher with juveniles doesn't necessarily work. I mean, if we're not actually addressing real problems that are at the root of the situation. Well, this has been a fascinating conversation. Dr. Surajit Khanna, so glad to have you with us today and hope you'll come back. We've got a lot more to talk about, but we're out of time for today. Thanks for helping us wrap up this week of Kentucky's Voice.
Thank you very much. God
bless you and have a great weekend, sir. And to my co-host, thank you all for joining us. There's just never enough time, and we've got to do this again. This was fun. Thank you, Vladimir Aguilar. Diana Starr, thank you for helping us today, especially with our guests and coordinating that. We appreciate it. We appreciate you. God bless. Have a great weekend.
God
Talk
bless.
to you on Monday, 11 to noon, right here, Kentucky's Voice.